Hey everyone, AMR back again with another LeetCode problem. So in today's episode, I will be doing number 75 sort colors. So given an array nums with n objects colored red, white, or blue, sorry, there's something on the screen, sort them in place so that the objects of the same color are adjacent with the colors in the order red, white, and blue. So this is kind of in line with it being July and the 4th of July. So red, white, and blue being in America. So we will use the integers 0, 1, and 2 to represent the color red, white, and blue respectively. You must solve the problem without using the library's sort function. Fantastic. So you have to create some type of sorting algorithm of your own and then trying to figure it out from there. So it should be kind of fun here. I mean, there is the method of like insertion sort, which I'm pretty fond of. There's quick sort, merge sort, bubble sort. There's one called like tournament sort, heap sort. I just could bore you all day with all the different type of sorts that I know. Let's go ahead and, let's just go ahead and see if we can do this thing, you know? So basically, do we have to care about time complexity or space complexity? I don't really think so. But I guess what I probably would end up doing would, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like a merge sort. But let's start off with like your basic. Do not return anything. Modify nums in place instead. Oh, brother. Okay, so I'm going to return none. So you're going to have nums. It's going to be for I comma value in 8 nums. I is going to be the indice. Value is going to be the value at that indice in the nums list. You are going to say for j comma, I have to do an if condition first. If I is equal to the length of nums minus 1, go ahead and break. We're trying to think through this problem. You could have a runtime complexity of on squared, because you have you have a nested for loop basically. So what that would look like for j comma value nums if j not equal to I. Only in here will we actually be doing anything. Otherwise, go ahead and continue the path. Sorted equals false. I kind of like the for I in range. I in range len. If I is equal of nums minus 1. If sorted turn. Otherwise, go ahead and do it again. Okay, if that's not sorted. If sorted, otherwise, else, turn color. Solution dot sorted colors, and then you could just say nums. Okay, otherwise, then we want to go ahead and check if for j and nums, but instead you want to start off at j, or sorry, you want to start off at I plus 1. If j is equal to the length of nums minus 1, if sorted, turn. No, I don't know if I want to do this part. Go ahead and break that inner loop. Otherwise, what we're going to do, we're going to say if num sub I greater than nums sub j, temp is going to be equal to num sub j. Nums sub I is going to be equal to num sub j. Nope. Going to be nums sub j is equal to num sub I. And then num sub I is equal to temp. Okay. Sorted is equal to false. Sorted, say, sorted equal. Is that right? No. How do we want to do this? So every time that's sorted, sorted num sub I is greater than this. I'll go ahead and swap them. I think I'm going to put this into a swap method. Swap nums. Say current. Next new. Like down here, you go above it because pilers, renders, def swap. You're gonna have self. You're gonna have nums. You're gonna have the current value, and then you're gonna have the new value. Plop this in there just like so. Our nums. Okay, nums equals this. Okay, so we went ahead and swapped. Then I would say that we have to say that this is true to begin with, and once this is a hit, then we have to say sorted is equal to false. And then it continues down the list. And then otherwise, let's see here. Let's see. For I in range, if I is equal to the length of the list minus 1. If sorted, return. Otherwise, return the solution nums equals nums. For j equals I plus 1. Length of the nums, if that's equal to the n, go ahead and break this outer loop. Maybe I can just go like, I don't think I need this part. I think I can go like that. That sounds right. Let's run the code, see what happens. Probably gonna break. Okay, num solution, current is not defined. Oh, current is gonna be num I. New value will be j. Okay, nums current temp is current equal to new sub j j. I mean, if that's the case, then we don't like this. I j j. Okay, missing one requirement in the positional arguments. So you get nums, you get I, you get j. I'm confused why this would not be okay. Solution.swap. I mean, missing one requirement. Nums I j. You're getting self by passing in or calling the solution. Oh, it has self. That's why. My bad. So self.swap. Probably could make it static given that it's not actually calling any type of, whatever. Did you mean sort colors? Yeah, I did actually. Okay. Speeding up, missing one positional argument, self. Shit. Okay, so we actually got our first expected outcome here. Let's go ahead and check out the other solutions. So test cases, we have 0, 1, and 2. Oh, I'm sorry. 2, 0, and 1. Go ahead and run those, see what happens. Pending, speeding up. We actually got both of them correct as well. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little stunned. I thought that this was going to go a lot worse. Let's just see what happens here. I literally have no idea if it's going to work or not. Judging, expectation. I mean, I feel pretty good about it, honestly. Go ahead and speeding up, judging. We actually got it to work. I can't believe that. This is like my first time ever trying this. As you could tell, I was fumbling over a lot of this. I basically was just using like a bubble sort, just kind of going through back and forth. And then once I got to the end, I went ahead and said, all right, let's go ahead and mark that as sorted, as false, because I had to swap. Anytime that you do swap in a sorting method, you can go ahead and define that that is probably not going to be sorted then, because you have to think about it in terms of, like, let's go ahead and just look at it like what an example would be like. So let's say our list looks like this. And then whenever this code block right here gets hit and you have to swap elements, what that newly swapped one will look like now will actually be like this, which is not sorted, because although we've swapped and you'd think it might be sorted, we still have not taken into account that we have other elements out here. And then the same can be said for elements previously. Now there is going to be an assumption that whenever we get to the next indice of wherever we were presently, that we no longer have to sort any of this back here. You can probably assume that it's probably not going to do that anymore. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only way we could really speed this up, and I feel like you could speed it up quite a bit actually, is if we added another positional argument here. That look, it's super slow compared to the other people's solutions. I think you could leave off some type of a indice to start off at. That way, whenever we call this sorted nums here, we can go ahead and say, all right, let's go ahead and pass in this. Because we have to be modifying the existing nums in place. If we go ahead and just pass in, nums colon I to the end, that's actually a new list than what you're actually like looking at. So you have to be careful whenever you start messing around. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run it one more time just to make sure that everything is working properly. We do have a pretty slow runtime. I have to imagine that's because of the insertion sort that I ended up utilizing here. If you wanted to make this a little bit more efficient, I guess you could, do the sorting of half the array and then the other half the array, and then just pushing the two arrays together and performing one long insertion sort. I don't really know. I feel like at that point, you might be saving a little bit of time. If you want to go ahead and try that, be my guest. This is like my first run through the problem. If you're interested in how I would do this, maybe with a particular sorting method in mind, go ahead and let me know. But for the sake of just creating a video and trying to get you guys thinking through my thought process of how you go about doing a sorting method on the fly, this is essentially how you do it. You just create a temp of like what you're trying to transition to, swapping them out in place, and then returning that num so that way you can keep track. And then you have some type of a variable that will be indicating whether or not your current list is sorted or not. But as always, if you like today's content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, that was my time, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you.